Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 2, expanding on best practices. Before we jump into this week, I just wanted to revisit last week and thank everyone for posting. I really enjoyed reading the introductions. It was fun getting to know you all. And I also wanted to mention that I was really impressed with a lot of the discussion going on, especially with why we need risk management. That discussion board 2, there are some really great thoughtful posts going on. And in the same vein, as I was reading through the ISO 31000 quizzes, there are some really great responses there as well. So hopefully the material is interesting and practical and relevant, and you're already seeing ways to apply it as you move forward as an industry professional. So now we're going to jump into week 2. I think it's important to point out from the get-go that this week is a survey. We're going to cover a lot of topics this week, and it's just a broad brush stroke of a lot of different things that need to get covered in a course on risk management. So just kind of break it down into categories for this week. We're going to look at legal issues. In particular, we'll look at negligence, basic accident management skills. One of those PowerPoints has a few really good slides about how to manage accidents and how to deal with the media should you find yourself working for an institution in the unfortunate event of an accident. We'll talk a little bit about insurance and record keeping as well. I've actually scanned a couple pages from my personal guides notebook, the one that I use before I go to work, as a guide or outdoor educator, and I put those in the discussion board so folks can see how I keep records. I have bad handwriting and I use a lot of abbreviations, but hopefully it's good and helpful to see how professionals prepare for outdoor activities and keep notes. We're going to talk about standards of practice this week. This ties in to best practices. I posted a document from the American Mountain Guides Association as a resource. It's what they call the scope of practice, and we can use those terms relatively interchangeably on this course. The American Mountain Guides Association scope of practice outlines training that's required to work in certain kinds of terrain. So in order to work as a rock climbing guide, the American Mountain Guides Association suggests that you should take formal training. That'll be the start to a discussion on scopes of practice and standards of practice. So hopefully that resource is helpful, and the assignment for that discussion board is for you to get out on the internet and try to find various standards of practice. It's all explained in there, but I just wanted to touch upon that. We're also going to talk about land management agencies this week and the various kind of patchwork of agencies that manage our public lands in this country. And then lastly, we'll chat about putting it all together and why we need to be familiar with these various best practices. Actually, there's one more thing. There's a case study for this week. So we're going to do case studies on this course. And the first case study comes from Mount Washington. There's a tragic accident there a few years ago. The Boston Globe did a really nice multimedia presentation about the accident. So there'll be a case study this week. I think it's good to learn from real life examples. Here's an overview of the discussions again. So pretty much everything I just mentioned, legal issues, land management, standard of practice, and the case study. And as I said, this week is definitely a survey. So my intention is not for everyone to become experts in all these categories, but it's to be familiar with these various best practices. And when you do go out and get a job, or you're working in an outdoor education institution, you'll be familiar with the various kind of bits and pieces and the nuts and bolts that go into formulating risk management plans and understanding the behind the scenes work. So the theme is how it all comes together. Since we're learning about all these various parts, we want to make sure that it actually ties in with risk management. And going back to the ISO 31000 definition of risk management, which everyone knows from the quiz, they define risk as coordinated activities to direct and control an organization with regard to risk. So that's a true definition of risk management. And what we're going to be looking at is all these coordinated activities as we dig deeper into best practices. So proper permits, insurance, working within our training, sound record keeping, they all equate to a solid risk management plan. And that's kind of where we're going for this week. On the radar, next week, we're going to work on emergency evacuation plans. And students are going to create emergency evacuation plans, but if it's never too early to start thinking about that, part of the assignment is to figure out a venue that where you want to create the emergency action plan, but it's also where you're going to go with a partner on a few-hour hike. So it's never too early to start thinking about venues that are local to you where you might like to go for a hike. So I just wanted to put that up in the video and have people start thinking about that since it's a really cool assignment and you want to put a little bit of time into it. So you can go out and have a hike or a snowshoe somewhere fun. Another thing is that I will be teaching on campus this weekend. I'm teaching Out 168, Avalanche Awareness Level 1. That being said, I will be on campus on Thursday, January 26th. To prep the course, I'll be dealing with gear and all sorts of logistics, but I will have some open office hours from 4:30 to 5:30 this upcoming Thursday. I'll just be stationed in the couches in the West Building by the printer. So if anybody's around and just wants to stop by, I'll be there. I can answer questions about the assignment or about the course. It'd be great to meet you all. It's always nice to put a face to the name in the online course format. And that is it for this week. So I look forward to reading everyone's discussions. As you can see up here, there is quite a bit of reading for this week, but it should go pretty quickly. The last article, Legal Terms and Principles, that's an optional reading. So if you have extra time and you're really excited about the legal aspect, I added that there as a resource. But the reading, it should go quickly, and then there's no formal assignment due, but as I said, there are several discussions. There's the legal issue discussion, the land management discussion, standard of practice discussion, and the case study. So thanks to everyone for your work in week 1. I appreciate all the hard work and thoughtful responses, and I look forward to reading everyone's responses this week. Thanks so much.